Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to show you guys the eLocity A7. This is the first 7-inch Android tablet to sport a Tegra 2 processor. It's manufactured by a Philadelphia startup known as Stream TV Networks. It's priced at $350. You can find it at Amazon or BJ's among some other retailers. And I'm so far pretty impressed with what the value rather that it represents at a $350 price point. Like I said before, it has a Tegra 2 processor. It also has 512 megs of RAM, so the same amount as the Samsung Galaxy Tab. It also has 4 gigs of internal storage, which may sound meager, but it does have a micro SD card slot, so don't fret. You'll be able to expand your storage by at least 32 gigs. It also has a full-size USB host port as well as a regular standard HDMI port capable of 1080p output. It also has a front-facing 1.3 megapixel webcam as well as microphone for video chat and conference, and it also has some Android capacitive buttons that, unlike the Arcos, are not on screen. They are on the bezel of the device. Clearly a lot more bezel here than you'll find on the Galaxy Tab, but I do really like the overall build quality construction. Even though it's plastic, it does have a weighty feel. It's about a pound, whereas the Galaxy Tab, I believe, is about 0.84, 0.85, so a little bit heftier, so really comparable to the Galaxy Tab. It is a more powerful device. They both do run Froyo with Flash out of the box, except this one I find really can play video, whereas the Tab does struggle sometimes with Flash, and I would probably blame that on its A8 Gen processor, whereas here we've got an A9 Tegra 2. So let me show you guys the actual build and construction quality, and then get to the web browsing, because that's one of the issues that I have with this device. You know, Stream TV did a good job with the software and the build. As you can see, matte finish all around the back and bottom of the device. There's a proprietary port here, and then a DC charging port there. Speaker right here, one of the 2 stereo speakers. Then you've got your HDMI and USB port. Let me just show that to you guys. I like that they've capped all of the ports to give it a nice clean finish. Some people will find that annoying, but I actually do enjoy that. By the way, with that 1080p HDMI support, you know, do remember they don't have the same codec support that, let's say, an Arcos product does, but still impressive to have 1080p out of a 7-inch tablet. There's your power button. It's recessed. Not sure how I feel about that so far. Nice matte finish on the back, a little bit of that piano black gloss finish. Not in love with that, but not a big deal. Overall, really nice design on the tablet, even though it's plastic. There's another one of the speakers, and then at the top of the device you can see we've got our micro SD card slot and SIM card slot. So I've got a 32 gig card in there now, which I've ported over most of my apps from my Droid X, and then of course a 3.5mm headphone jack. So, you know, overall, like I said before, a nice design. I do like that they've capped all of the ports. That's definitely a good thing. And let's get to the actual software experience. Now, the G tablet made by ViewSonic that I reviewed earlier this year really had all of the specs, but the ergonomics and screen quality and software simply were a failure, in my opinion. And even though there is a large development community for that device over at XDA, it simply is just too much of a hassle for the average user, and even sometimes an advanced one, to want to invest in something that is so costly, being that the G-Tab is a $400 device. Again, this comes in at around $50 less, so definitely a difference in pricing. That is a 10-inch device though. Again, you're not going to have the screen issues you had with the G-Tab, but there is an issue with the multi-touch, like I mentioned, so let's look at that. With the multi-touch, here we're on CNN, pretty graphic intensive. Now, this is supposed to be a 1+1 input multi-touch. In other words, you should be able to pinch to zoom. But if I try, you notice I got a misclick there, a mistouch, but I'll still try to zoom on something for you guys. You'll notice it's doing it in steps. Basically, the same way it would if I was using the magnifying glass function. So there's clearly something wrong here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. eLocity, or rather I should say Stream TV, the manufacturer of the eLocity, has said that they're going to update the firmware on the device very shortly. It seems the smaller the pinch you do, the less of a step it takes in magnification, but you can see sometimes it gets confused and isn't even sure whether you're trying to zoom in or out. So this right now is a bit of a game breaker in my opinion, but I do think it's something that can be resolved on the software level in the firmware build, because from what I've seen, I have seen devices in the past that were not multi-touch. I mean, even going back to the original Droid, and you know, simply with a software change and update, that was remedied, as well as some other devices. So I'm not sure that the actual eLocity is not capable of the 1+1 input. In fact, eLocity representatives have said that it is capable of 1+1, which would mean it should work. Away from that, the actual speed of the Tegra 2 is really impressive. Let's load up ESPN just to give you guys an idea. Again, that SwiftKey I've installed. That's not the stock Android keyboard. You can see it's moving really quickly. Flash is working. I have to say, this thing probably renders web pages about 10 seconds more quickly in load time than the Arcos line of tablets, and that's with real Flash support going on here. Again, this seems to be optimized because video and ads generally play well together. This advertisement, though, is not playing so nicely. As you can see, it's kind of covering up all of the ESPN homepage. Again, you can see a little lag with the browsing. We know what the pinch to zoom is already like. It's a disappointment. Let me talk about the one other issue I've been having with this device, which is the Wi-Fi lock. Now, although it does support B and G, no N, which is sad because N is pretty much standard fare already. Even the Arcos line of tablets, which, by the way, I'm really liking the new firmware update that was launched on the 16th. If you haven't updated, please do. I will be putting some follow-up reviews on that device to show you guys how that update's going, because it's working really well. But back to the eLocity, I do anticipate that between XDA developers and the forum members, we're going to see a lot of things fixed on this tablet and just a really improved experience on the whole. Now, as I was mentioning, the Wi-Fi issue is as follows. Basically, if you put the device to sleep by hitting the power button, that recessed power button that I mentioned, I'm not sure how I feel about, and you'll see it'll go to sleep. Basically what happens is, okay, the device is asleep, you come back to it figuring, all right, I'm going to power up my tablet now and use it, and the Wi-Fi has gone into a death mode, an airplane mode, that the only way you can actually get Wi-Fi functionality back, even though you attempt to toggle it on and off, is by doing a hard reset of the device. So that's definitely an issue. Looked like we locked up there for a second, but not really. Let's just get back to the standard launcher. As you can see, I also have Launcher Pro installed there. So it seems we do have Wi-Fi, so it's working. I mean, I did install an app to try to keep the Wi-Fi on, but haven't seen anybody resolve this yet on XDA. Again, some people are having the issues, some aren't, so not sure if it's a matter of that I just have a lemon, as well as some other users. I do believe it's a driver issue. Most of the problems with Tegra 2 based tablets right now are driver related. So anyway, pretty impressed with this device. I do think that if Stream TV fulfills their promise on the 24th and updates at least the touchscreen capability, as well as some other bugs that people are aware of, like the Wi-Fi issue, which I do believe is a bug in the device, then this tablet at a $350 price point is pretty much a steal, although it doesn't represent the type of value that the Arcos Gen 8 tablets really have, since out of the box they have market support. I mean, market support really is something you do need in order to have a complete Google experience, and I can only hope that we'll see that soon on the eLocity A7. Anyway, a lot of exciting things could possibly be happening with this tablet, so keep your eyes peeled. I'll hopefully have more updates for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them as usual. And of course, please feel free to subscribe. Later.